For all martial artists, our bodies suffer from aches and pains. For many, chronic damage and injuries are also very common, but time and financial limitations restrict us from seeing healthcare providers daily. So how to overcome these obstacles to a healthy body? Self-care. In today's episode, guys, we're talking about ice baths. I'm in the ocean. Fortunately for me, I don't have to fill up my tub with ice because the water temperature here is 10 to 15 degrees Celsius or 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is perfect for ice baths. I used to think you had to fill up the tub with really cold water and then just pour in as much ice as you could so you were just a degree or two away from freezing, but that's a mistake. You can't last on that. You want to find 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit for that ideal ice bath temperature. Now today, as you guys can see, I'm just doing a half body ice bath, and I'm just doing this because it's my legs that are really wrecked. But if I had a whole body that was exhausted and tired, I'd be right up to my shoulders. Now, what are the benefits of an ice bath? As far as I understand, your body, when it gets really cold, all the veins restrict, and that helps flush out waste. So things like lactic acid, which make your body heavy and sore, end up getting flushed out and you feel a lot better. Now, personally for me, I've been doing ice baths for about 10 years and I swear by them. If you've never tried one before, I suggest you do. But there are certain elements to an ice bath which you need to be aware of. And one of the first things that is very important is you don't need to be doing it at the end of every session, because as I understand, it can actually inhibit muscle growth if you do cold baths at the end of a session all the time. So you want to make sure that what you're really doing is doing these fairly infrequently. In the middle of training camp for me, I only do it once every week, once every 2 weeks possibly, depending on how sore I am. I really just wait until my body feels like, you know what, I can't perform tomorrow at the level that I want to and I need something extra. So that's when I personally jump in the bath and get really cold. It can be bath, it can be ocean if you have the right temperature, but you want to make sure you get out and you get that body just flushed. Now let's talk about how long you need to spend in an ice bath. All the studies that I've read, all the research that I've conducted personally is 5 to 10 minutes maximum. I personally like to aim for 10 minutes. I find I still feel okay at that point, and my body, the first minute or two is really unpleasant, and then your body kind of numbs out, and then I find around the 8-minute point you actually start getting a little bit of a tingly sensation through your body. You kind of start heating up. You almost feel like you're heating up, you're obviously not. And that's for me when I go, okay, it's time to get out. Now, something to note, really important, is when you finish an ice bath, you don't want to run to warm water. You want your body to heat up naturally, and the best way to do that, I found, is just curl up in bed, let your body naturally heat up. Sometimes it takes somewhere like 15 minutes to an hour to actually get that core temperature risen back up, but your body's working hard then. And I find, not so much right away, but the day after I am feeling on point. Now, something else to keep in mind, icing your shoulder, let's say if it was injured, is very different than taking an ice bath. One is for sort of overall body fatigue, the other is for an actual injury. So what you guys want to make sure you're doing is just when your body's fatigued, that's when you actually get in the ocean, not when it's injured. But I have found that when I'm consistent with my ice baths, I'm doing one a week during training camp, I seem less likely to get injured. Now for me, ice bath is one of the most unpleasant things at training camp. I hate getting in the cold water. It's not as bad when it's a nice day like this, but when it's a winter and it's 5 degrees out and the water's 10 degrees Celsius, it is unpleasant, but always worthwhile. Always something that makes me feel better in the long run during that training camp. Now, if you guys missed out on my last episode talking about rolling the body, check that out in the link up here. This is my self-care series. We're going to be talking about all the ways that I stay healthy and fit without having to go and spend money on practitioners like athletic therapists, physiotherapists. If you guys haven't already, make sure you get subscribed. And if you haven't had a chance to try an ice bath, make sure you put that on your list of things to do. You can do it at home. Fill your bath up with 100% cold water. Run to the grocery store, get a couple bags of ice, dump them in. 10 minutes. Make sure you keep stirring the water because you get a layer of warm water around your body, which makes things a little warmer than it should be. So you're constantly stirring that water. I like to, if I can, get the whole body in if I'm really in need of it, and try to gauge how you feel before and how you feel 2 or 3 days after. You should notice a difference. I personally do. All right, guys, thanks for following along in this episode today. I'll see you back here soon for another video.